All right, we're rolling. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. This is going to be a super quick. I'm going to try to have everybody off of this Zoom by 12:20. So that is the goal for this. So what we're going to do today is focus on recruiting new promoters into your business. It's like basically the end of December, the end of 2019. We're going into 2020. And I don't know about you guys, but this is 100% what my focus is it. Let me know if I'm breaking up or anything. Am I good? Okay, this is going to be my focus for the rest of the month and for January, is bringing new people into the business. So here's what I want you to think about. There's two different options for this. I'm going to post the verbiage in the comments, so that way you can see what I'm sending out. Feel free to change it up. I actually encourage you to change it up a little bit so that we're not all sending out the exact same message, and most likely you guys don't talk exactly like I do. So I want you to make this your own. But here's what we're going to do. If you've never been on a working Zoom before, raise your hand if this is your first one. I think, okay, I don't see any hands. So probably most everybody has been on here, but if you're watching the recording later on and this is your first one, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you guys what to do. I'm going to give you verbiage. I'm going to give you an action step. And then we're going to pretty much just sit here in silence for about 15 minutes sending out messages. So you're not going to hear a ton of talking. So like I said, we're focusing on recruiting new promoters into your business. So I'm going to give you guys the verbiage in the comments below so that you can copy and paste it and then change it up a little bit to make it your own. If you are brand new, or maybe this is not something that you already do, you can send this message out to people who are your current customers. So people that are currently doing the 10-day challenge, maybe they've bought a 5 or a 10-day trial from you, they're your SmartShip customer. Anybody that you haven't already had the promoter conversation with, this is what you can do over the next 15 minutes. Personally, I already have had that conversation with all of my people. It's part of what I do. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to old posts in my keto group or on my Facebook, anything that has a lot of comments, and I'm reaching out to people who have not already purchased from me, or maybe it's been a really long time. So let me pop this into the comments and I'll tell you exactly what I'm sending out. Oh, that didn't work. I'm sorry guys, hang on just a second. And it's working. I've sent this message out already this morning to several people, and I have Mandy in tons of promoter conversations right now. Okay. Let me see if that'll go through. Here we go. So I'm going to read it off to you guys. Hey girl, hope you're doing great and have your life together for Christmas. Super random, but we are closing out 2019 and trying to help as many people as possible start a side biz sharing ketones. Don't ask me why, but I thought about you. Now, if you're sending this to your customers, you can change the don't ask me why, but I thought about you to I know you were doing your 10-day challenge and having great results. Or I know you just got started drinking ketones, so I thought about you. So change that to whoever you're sending it to. And then I like to add something personal. So I'll say something like, don't ask me why, but I thought about you. And I'll add something like, I know you're a teacher, or I know you love to talk to new people and you always have so many friends. Like, just add something personal in there. Not sure if you know, but end of December going into January is like crazy busy awesome for people in my industry. Everyone feels yuck and is ready to focus on their health. Would you be interested in hearing more about what I do? No pressure at all. And if you don't, that's totally okay. But I believe you were put in my mind for a reason. So copy and paste that if you like it. If you don't like it, you can make up something for yourself. And we're going to take, it's 12:06. We're going to take the next 15 minutes to send, or let's do 10 minutes. We're going to send this out to as many people as possible. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. If you haven't already had this conversation with every single customer that you have, every person that's currently drinking ketones, I would start with them. If you already had that conversation like me and you want to look for some new people, think about people who have commented on your post recently, people who are interested but haven't gotten started yet. You can think of people, literally anybody. Sometimes I just scroll through my Facebook and like scroll a couple times and then stop, and I'll just message people because I feel like that they were put into my path for a reason that day, because I believe in stuff like that. So send it out to people who you feel like have influence. I don't know why, but I really love teachers. I feel like that they're super busy, but they also have their lives together in a lot of ways. So I always feel like that they do great in the business. So, okay, so I'm going to hush so we can focus. Everybody, here's one more thing. Do not respond to any of the messages. Don't even open them up. As you see people message you back, just stay strong and ignore it. We're going to focus on sending out these messages for the next 10 minutes. Okay, ready, set, go. And if you have questions, you can pop them in the comments. And I'm going to use the last couple of minutes of the Zoom to give you guys some tips on what to say back to people when they reply and say that they would like to hear more, or if they just say no, thank you. Okay, so somebody that just popped on, I'm going to copy and paste it again. This is the message. I want you to change it up a little bit. And this is what we're sending out to people who are either current customers and you haven't had the conversation with them, or just people who've, pop into your mind, people that have influence, literally anybody in the whole entire world. You can send this message to them. And I just want to encourage you guys, this is something that we should be doing every single day. Don't be afraid to have this conversation. I know sometimes that people can feel a little bit uncomfortable for some reason, but I just always try to think of myself. I mean, I feel a little uncomfortable too, but I always try to think of myself when I got started in Pruvit. It wasn't necessarily the ketones that I needed as much as I needed the business opportunity. This is what has changed everything for me. So I think about those moms who are laying on the couch feeling sad because they don't have enough money to buy their kids Christmas, or they can't figure out how they're going to be able to pay the bills on time. These are the people that need our help the most. So don't be afraid to have this conversation and make the ask. So this is not something that I would post on my Facebook to try to recruit people that way. We can go over, different ideas on posts and stuff like that later. This is just something that we're doing, sending out a private message. Okay, we're going to take like 2 more minutes sending out the message, and then I'm going to go over with you guys really quick on some things to say when they respond. Has anybody gotten any responses yet? I literally have 3, and I haven't opened them, but it said one of them says, I would like to know more. One of them says, girl, I would love to hear, and I'm assuming she's saying more. One of them says, sure, I don't know much, but that's 3 yeses from what we spent 10 minutes of me sending out this message. So imagine if we took 15, 20 minutes every single day doing this, like what would your business look like? I'm so excited. Okay, so I have sent out, like I just went through and counted, I've sent out about 20 messages. Not all of them were just in this last 10 minutes, but if you don't care, count your messages really quick and pop it in the comments and let me know how many you guys were able to send out. And also, I would love to know like how this exercise made you feel. Do you feel good about it? Do you feel spammy about it? Just be honest. I know sometimes people feel like they don't want to spam people, but honestly, if you do what I just told you, come from a good place in your heart that you really do, you really are looking to help people. I think that'll definitely take that spammy feeling away. And it's a muscle that you're going to build. The more you do it, the easier it's going to become. I say this all the time: marry the process, divorce the outcome. Some days you're going to be sending out messages to people, and you may not get any response at all. You may get negative responses, and you may get some really great ones. But it's all about making sure that you're doing it. Let's see. Okay, so here's what I do when people respond and say, sure, they want to hear more. So it just depends. Is this someone who's tried ketones before? If they've never even tried it, I have that conversation first so that they know what the heck it is that we even do. If they have tried it before, I've already had the conversation with them. I just connect right away. So I will pop them into a group message with someone that I'm working with. Make sure that you're doing those proper introductions. If you don't know how to do this, I'm not going to keep everybody on here forever going over that. Get with your champ upline or whoever it is that you're working with and say, how do I make that connect? Because that's really key to this whole thing. If you don't know how to connect someone properly, it can kind of just blow it for you. So you want to make sure that you know what you're doing with that. So get with whoever you're working with and ask them to go over with you really quick how to make the connection, how to do the third party message without it being weird. And then if someone says no, that they're not interested, I say no big deal. Thank you so much for taking the time to read my message. Really quick, I would love to ask you, do you know anybody off the top of your head who would be interested in making an extra $500 to $1,000 a month? I'm really looking to expand my business, and you can say into your area, or I know you know a lot of people, or would you be willing to, get me connected to somebody? And a lot of times what happens is when they hear you say $500 to $1,000, or do you know anybody who would be good at this or something like that, they'll be like, dang, $500 to $1,000, I could really use that. Because a lot of times I think people don't realize that you can actually make a good income doing what we do. So let me read the comments really quick. Okay, Danielle says, I feel spammy when I don't get any responses. Yeah, and now if this is someone who I've messaged a few times and they haven't responded to me at all, clearly they're not interested. So they wouldn't be someone that I would send this message to. Okay. So does anybody have any specific questions? Do you feel like that this was helpful? Is this something that you feel like that you can commit to sending out so many messages a day about the business opportunity?
Hey, Jess, can I chime in for 1 second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to just kind of address the couple of people who said, oh, I feel spammy. And I'm going to be transparent. I don't feel spammy. I don't ever feel spammy because I'm genuinely coming to people with a real intention, like that's genuine and good. So, I'd like y'all to, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, try and find a different word than spammy, because if you put that negative connotation to it, you'll just continue to think it's negative. But here's one thing that I noticed, and raise your hand if you felt the same way. When I clicked on a name and opened up the message and realized I had never actually spoken to them about ketones before, that's when I felt, ugh, this is weird. So what that reminded me is, if I want to feel less of that, oh, this is weird, I actually need to be having more ketone conversations. Does that make sense? So, yes, there are going to be people who are going to join specifically because of the business. We have people on our team who literally probably did not give a rip what the ketone tasted like or what they did. They needed a business. But I felt like, oh, well, this is fine to send this message to these 5 people because we've talked about ketones before. Felt uncomfortable to send the message to these 5 people because we haven't talked about them before, or we haven't talked about them in a long time. So I think just like this is something that we should be doing, and I don't do enough of it. So thank you for making us do this today. But it was also a good reminder for me, like if I'm feeling uncomfortable about this message, it probably means I'm not having enough of the actual, what do you know about ketones? Or would you like to do this 10-day challenge or something like that, right? So just wanted to throw that out there. That might be something that could help people.
Thank you, Mandy. Okay, I'm just reading through the comments to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey.
I'll only talk for 1.5 seconds. And the only thing I was going to say is this. I love that you said the promoter part. If you're brand new or you're like, man, I don't know if that's a conversation I want to have, you can do the exact same thing that Jessica walked you through with customers. Going back to people that have liked your picture. It's honestly, you guys, all it is doing what Jessica had you do for 15 or 20 minutes of your day, being very intentional. And you either have the promoter conversation or you have the customer conversation and you say, hey, I've had a lot of people reaching out. I saw you've been watching my posts. I'm putting together a new January 10-day challenge group, whatever it is. But the point is being intentional, picking that one conversation and just going out and asking people. That's it. It's the power of the ask.
Yes, thank you, Steph. And normally our working Zooms are centered around reaching out to people about the challenge or drinking ketones or a 5 or 10 day trial or whatever. But I just felt like with it being the end of December, and this is something that I'm focusing on personally, that it would be a great opportunity to share this with you guys. So I'm like so fired up. I don't know if you, how many champs we have on here but last night at our COC Zoom that we have every single Monday night, it was really just focusing on doubling down, getting people to join your team. And it really hit me hard. Like, this is what I personally need to be doing. So if you feel led to make this your focus, I would love to stay in touch with you guys and see how this is going. And I'm committed to bringing in 10 new promoters before the end of the month. Like, that's my goal. I'm hardcore going to work my butt off, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can make it happen. So I want you guys to figure out, what is your number? Like, mine's 10, yours can be 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 20, whatever you feel led to make your number. But I would love for all of you guys to set a goal for yourself. How many new promoters are you going to bring in before 2020, before January 1st? Okay, I've kept you guys on here for 5 minutes longer than I said I was. I'm so sorry. I did record this too, so I'll get it posted and y'all can share it with any of your team members who weren't able to be on today. I'm so excited. Okay, I love you guys so much. I hope y'all have the best day ever. Everybody pray for me that I survive the reboot. Love you. Bye.